and welcome back. You're here right in time for me to move from the subcontinent to the Middle East, or more specifically, to Israel. Now, this may come as a surprise, but the people who actually came up with the concept of Israel and political Zionism did not have religion on their minds. Theodor Herzl, considered the founder of modern Zionism, was in fact an atheist, inspired more by 19th century nationalism and socialist principles than by any religious doctrine. But lo and behold, 62 years later, its political parties supported by the religious right that are in power. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu openly calls for Israel to be recognized as a Jewish state. And religious factions are, of course, at the forefront of Israel's ever-expanding settlements. But as in any militarized state, the true levers of power are to be found in the army. And it is the army to which Jewish religious extremists have flocked. Yigal Levy, an Israeli professor, estimates that 40% of the personnel in combat units and the core of junior army officers are religious. An Israeli intelligence official has been quoted as saying that 12% of the population is now dominating the army command. Within a decade, they will lead the central command. And in the attack on Gaza, the deadly consequences of this military-militant nexus became painfully clear. The hardliners came out in force, and Israeli soldiers were treated to sermons by extremist rabbis, sanctioned by the military's high command itself. The army's own chief rabbi, Brigadier General Avikai Ronsky, according to testimonies by Israeli soldiers, told them that it was immoral to show any mercy to the enemy in the operation. One unit commander even complained that rabbis told his troops that this was a war being fought to expel the Gentiles who were interfering with the conquest of the Holy Land. He says the main message many soldiers took away from this operation was that this was a religious war. According to the same testimonies, the Palestinians were equated with the biblical Philistines, and the soldiers were told that there would be no accounting for sins committed in the Gaza war. The result of this kind of indoctrination can be seen in the brutal toll that Israel took on Gaza. And now let's move from the most powerful army in the Middle East to the most powerful army in the world, the United States Armed Forces, where a now familiar script has been unfolding for some time. In May this year, Al Jazeera obtained and aired footage of uniformed American soldiers in Afghanistan's Bagram Air Base talking about converting Afghans to Christianity. These military missionaries were armed with Bibles in Dari and Pashto, and an unwavering conviction that converting the Afghans is just as important as fighting the Taliban. After a round of denials, retractions, and promises to take action, the US military wrote it off as an isolated event. Except that it wasn't an isolated event, just the manifestation of a creeping evangelical takeover of the US military that has been years in the making. 2 years ago, a video emerged, shot by a group called Christian Embassy, which aims at converting key decision makers in the US administration to the evangelical cause. Check it out.
There are over 25,000 Department of Defense leaders working in the rings and corridors of the Pentagon. Through Bible studies, discipleship, prayer breakfasts, and outreach events, Christian Embassy is mustering these men and women into an intentional relationship with Jesus Christ.
These godly men are taking godly principles that they're learning in the Christian Embassy Bible studies, and they're applying those things to their personal lives. And as a result, they're going to go out and they're going to lead men, and their soldiers are going to benefit from the fact that they are military men that are also godly men.
Now, just imagine for a moment that that was the GHQ, and you had serving Pakistani generals promoting, for example, the Tablighi Jamaat. And tell me if you don't think that would have made headlines the world over. And the only reason we even know about Christian Embassy and its activities is largely due to the efforts of one man, That's Mikey Weinstein, a former US soldier and president of the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. He first broke that story, demanding that the Pentagon take action. But that's not all he found. While Christian Embassy focuses on the leader, another evangelical group focuses on the foot soldiers.
Our purpose for Campus Crusade for Christ at the Air Force Academy is to make Jesus Christ the issue at the Air Force Academy and around the world.
Now, believe me, there's a lot more where that came from, and in this short amount of time that I have, I've just barely scratched the surface of the Crusader culture creeping into the US military. But after this break, I'm going to be speaking with Mikey Weinstein, who deals with this on a daily basis. Don't miss it.